Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.
Hey, Greg, you wish for a little more action?
I do wish for more action, Mike.
As you wish, Greg.
Now this is nice.
You got 2 wishes left.
Boxing King Media in association with the Riyadh season. Delighted to be joined by Tyson Fury's manager, Spencer Brown. Once again, Spencer, it's been a few days since we caught up and we kind of had that introduction. I'm going to start with some of the comments that we actually read on the last video. People were saying, is it Ray Winstone, is it Razor Ruddock, and even Conor McGregor we got. Do you want to let him know?
I don't look like Conor McGregor. I wished. Yeah, I suppose there's a little bit of similarity. I think I'm a bit fatter than those two, though.
Yeah, it's a fun side of social media, isn't it? When people compare you to, but Conor McGregor.
It's a good laugh in it, and you know we love a joke. You know, we love a bit of playing, a bit of a joke. That's what life's all about, isn't it?
It definitely is. Let's jump straight into it because we've got the media workout in an hour or so's time. The first thing I want to speak to you about is. I interviewed Tyson the other day. We spoke about a lot of subjects, mainly about society in the UK and how the world's issues are, etc. But something I picked up from what you told me last week, because I was talking about sponsors and I was looking at the team kit you've designed, and I noticed there wasn't any alcohol or gambling companies on there. And then you said to me, Tyson refuses to work with them. So,
Yes.
I asked him yesterday. So I just want to get you to tell me your version.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've on numerous occasions tried to get Tyson to do sponsorships with various companies, and the answer has always been no. No matter how much they've offered, I'm telling you, he's been offered some huge sums of money to work with gambling companies, to work with alcohol companies, to work with vape and not so much cigarettes, but you know, stuff like that, or CBD, and. Although he's got nothing against some of them, and he might have a drink himself, but he feels like he doesn't want to touch anything that could harm anybody. That might, because he has a drink himself, but he only has a beer anyway. He's not. He had a few drinks, and he's not a great drinker, put it that way. So no, you know, fair play to him. He's got his beliefs, and he thinks if it harms one person, then it's down to him. You know, if he advertises a gambling company, which a lot of people do, and that's their prerogative, and I have a bet myself, so I get where he's coming from. He just thinks that alcohol harms people, gambling harms people, and he's particularly the roulette machines and that, you know. I think a couple of his friends have had problems with them, and he wanted to make a point that, you know, although, you know, he's a big prize fighter, he can't be bought by these companies for that reason.
It's a good message behind that as well, because we do see, you know, a lot of people. I know he's been called greedy belly before by Usyk. Yeah. In jest, I'd say probably more like a bit two-way banter.
Yeah, the greedy belly and I think we've talked about this before. The greedy belly and the rabbit is all part of the game, and we want to see more of it. You know.
Yeah, it's interesting because it kind of quashes a lot of things what people assume, I suppose, in the world. And the other thing I want to speak to you about is, you know, we saw Deontay Wilder put a video out today saying that he wants Anthony Joshua, he wants that fight, because I think Eddie Hearn in a recent interview said that the AJ Wilder fight doesn't look like it's going to happen for various reasons. So just from your point of view, I know Tyson said in a few interviews this week that no matter what happens, he doesn't want the AJ fight. Obviously, you're now his manager. What would you be advising him? Because surely for the British public, that's a big fight.
Yeah, I can be advising him, but it's down to Tyson. He's his own man. He's, you know, I'm just an advisor and a manager. He might listen to me on a lot of things, but he's a very clever, he's a very intellectual man. You know, there's boxing. He's one of the best boxing historians I've ever seen. there's not a lot of questions you can't ask him, and he doesn't know about boxing. His boxing IQ is probably everybody in Britain will know is second to none. So the question to that and the answer to that, I get the question, but the answer to that is I don't know. I know he's not got a bad bone in his body for Anthony Joshua. I've never heard him. He might call him wooden top, but you know, it's all a boxing bodybuilder and all this. But he's got a lot of respect for Anthony Joshua, and he knows what he's done, and he knows he's been in a few dark places at the moment. And we were discussing it the other day, and he said I'd help him any day of the week if he ever wanted to come up to Morecambe with me. He said he's quite willing. He'd be over the moon to see him. So he bears no grudges to Anthony Joshua. So whatever people say, don't listen to it. It's a load of bullshit.
I think as like grown men, surely like with egos in places, I can't ever see Anthony Joshua accepting that, especially before they may fight.
I don't believe that either. Tyson has offered him 2 fights. Whether it's Anthony Joshua or his team didn't want Tyson to fight, but Tyson definitely wanted that fight. 1,000,000% wanted the fight. I don't think Anthony would not fight Tyson either. I think, you know, if he's willing to get in with Deontay Wilder, why wouldn't he get in with Tyson? Because Deontay Wilder will knock your block straight off. You know, but I believe that. So I don't think. I don't know. I think we should be looking at the fight taking place now. We shouldn't look beyond tomorrow because we don't know what's going to happen. We've had to do that literally with the Usyk fight because how things were and contractually and fitting the fight in and making sure the belts are all available. So that's why we had to do it so quickly because there's mandatories involved. So if we didn't get that mandatory, we couldn't fight for all the belts. So that's why it's happened so quickly. But I don't know whether he'll fight Anthony Joshua. The way he is at the moment, I would say that's a no. And he doesn't really want to look beyond tomorrow. He's got some big fights coming up, hasn't he? So why would he even think about that at the moment?
Fair comments. The other thing I want to speak to you about is obviously the interview I did with Shane Fury the other day, where he announced that TalkSPORT were banned because of comments that were made about Tyson, and obviously it's been a big talking subject this week. We've seen Simon Jordan did a thing yesterday with Spencer Oliver where they talked about it, and they put up the interview I did with Shane. I think one of the things he highlighted was, and he felt that he's said a lot of good things about Tyson as well, and in his words that majority has all been good, but the 10-20% that's been negative, that's been highlighted. Does he have a fair or valid argument based on that?
I think 20% would be an outrageous statement. I think it would be the other way, 80 and 20. I think you're more looking at like that. I mean, I know he's been quite ill, Simon Jordan. I don't really want to talk about it. I don't want to give it my breath. All I will say is I watched a bit on yesterday, and what I felt was that, you know, on one hand, again, he's saying that Tyson was a great fighter, and on the other hand is, well, I don't really care. I don't want to be there anyway. Why would I want to be at a fight? But I don't think that's necessarily true, because I had a conversation. I got rung by TalkSport, by the head of TalkSport called Liam, a guy called Liam who's in charge of TalkSport. Really nice bloke, really nice guy. We had quite a long conversation about the situation, and I pointed out I thought it was they'd been very, very unfair with Tyson, especially not knowing the facts, because you have to be factual. If you're going to say these things, be factual about saying them. He wasn't factual. He didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. Liam felt that it was all down to frustration from the fans and that we wasn't getting the fight. But my argument is, but why would you say those things knowing they're not true, creating a narrative that was simply not true? It was all made up. But everybody kept on and on and on, especially Adam Cattrall and Simon Jordan and others. And my point to him was, maybe you should have reined them in, and this would never have happened. It didn't need to happen. It was what they call false news. But they created a narrative that put Tyson in the wrong light, saying he was a ducker and all this, but we already had the fight lined up.
The other thing he said, he feels that this is all driven by, he was referring to YouTube channels as bedroom bloggers. I'm not sure what that means. Basically saying that, you know, they bastardize comments, plagiarize them to create their own content and highlight the negative points. Do you think that's a factor?
No, I think on that, look, he's done exactly the same. So does that make him a bedroom blogger? You know, just because he's an intelligent guy and a well-read and well-spoken guy, that doesn't mean you're not or anybody else is. We've all got our own opinions on everything. That's why we're human beings. So maybe he should look at some of the bedroom bloggers and look at how they deal with things and not be so critical, because it's not just Tyson they've been critical with. It's Anthony Joshua, Conor BENN. You know, there's a few others. I think
Eddie Hearn.
I mean, Eddie Hearn took the biggest slating of the. You know, we know Eddie loves numbers. You know, but there's a lot of people who sit there and watch Eddie. I watch him myself. So you know, he loves the numbers, but you know, to go and instead of burning people down and shooting them down like the talent we've got, people make mistakes. Me personally, I've known Conor BENN since he was a little kid. So, me personally, I don't believe that he's been involved in any drug taking. That's my personal opinion, and that's what I believe. And I think we should just let the man carry on, go and do what he's got to do, and maybe we'll have another British champion, eh? And maybe we'll have another world champion, because we need him. We're short of him.
But obviously, based on that, I'm hoping he wasn't referring to Boxing King Media's bedroom bloggers, because we've been around a long time.
Maybe he was referring to you. Maybe he was getting a little bit jealous of you doing all the interviews with Tyson, because you seem to be a regular part of the team now. You're always with us, and you sit around the pool with us and enjoy yourself with us and have great conversations on and off camera. So maybe Simon Jordan's a little bit jealous of you, eh?
I'm not sure, but like I said, our style of interviewing is basically just ask the questions, be completely impartial, you know, just putting it out there no matter who we have friendships with or relationships with, because that's the key part.
But I do want to say, I'm not slagging Simon Jordan off, because I'd be as bad as what he is, slagging people off. If that's how he makes his living, by doing that, but I'm not going to slag him off, because I'd be as bad as him, wouldn't I?
I will say he's very good at what he does, but unfortunately the brunt of it is, like you said, Dan, he's been highlighted that obviously Eddie has been vocal about falling out with TalkSPORT, and obviously he's had these debates with Simon, which public perception was that Eddie won both debates. Anthony Joshua's not been happy, Conor BENN's not been happy, Tyson Fury's not happy. That's 4 or 5 big names in British boxing.
Well, doesn't that speak for itself? So maybe TalkSPORT should have a look, instead of slagging everybody off and going against British boxing and highlighting all the bad things, maybe they should highlight the good things, and maybe they'll get more viewers, and people will want to engage with them and work with them. It's very simple, isn't it?
Do you think there's a space for that type of media as well, though? Because if everyone's just asking questions, we need people to be critical. Are you trying to say that you can't mix the two? You can't be an interviewer and also be critical at the same time?
No, I think you have to be critical if you've got the facts. You have to be factual, though, don't you? You know, they made the narrative that Tyson was ducking this fight. Where did that factually come from? Hearsay. Where was the proof? Frank Warren went on and told Simon Jordan on numerous occasions, because I watched it myself, it wasn't factual. But they still carried on with the same narrative. I don't know why they did, but it was obvious something wasn't right with what they were being told. And now it's all come out. You know, he's got to be reprimanded and told him that he's got egg on his face for doing it, surely.
You know, just from his perspective, could it be a case of, because I didn't know personally, but obviously we're not here to give critical opinions, but could it be a case of maybe general public didn't know what was going on, so the assumption was Tyson wanted 70% whatever, and Usyk's pulled out, etc. because of that. I know it was Usyk that eventually pulled out, but the way it was spun was that obviously the money wasn't right and the rematch clause as well.
Correct. I mean, look, he's a prize fighter, so why would he take anything but the best he can get? Why would anybody? Would you? No.
I'd want the
Nor
most
would I.
money. For the most riskiest fight, you'd want the most money.
Correct. So for the riskiest fight, the biggest fight in the world, you want paying handsomely for it. And unfortunately, England, we can't get enough money for a lot of the fights. We want the big occasions in England, and there will be some big news soon, and you'll find that big fights will be happening in England all over the world. So we're looking forward to that. But at the moment, the money's in Saudi. So no matter who you are, if you're a builder or you're a roofer or whatever, you're going to get the best money you can get, aren't you? It's simple. So, but I'm not saying it's not going to come back to England, because I think it will come back to England with a bang.
And the last thing I want to ask you, Spence, is I think Simon, he said in the video yesterday that he feels that you may now be using that as ammunition to keep them away from the undisputed fight. So my question to you is on the last one is, if and when that decision happens, will you reconsider allowing TalkSPORT back into Tyson Fury events, or is that it as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, look, the answer to that would be it's a team decision. Tyson will sit down with his team. He will look at, maybe look at in the future, something could change. But at the moment, he's not even angry. He's not angry about it. He's just disappointed that, we've got something great in this country. We've got the heavyweight champion of the world, and we just want to slag him off. It's unbelievable. But yeah, he'll sit down with the team. But at the moment, TalkSPORT is not allowed in the building.
Anything else you want to add, Spence, before I let you go? Got a media workout coming up in an hour?
Yeah, looking forward to it, like I'm everything else. I mean, did you go to it last night? You was there, obviously there. It was incredible, wasn't it? It was like Times Square. It was like Tokyo, Paris and London all put into one.
You couldn't describe it any better, and if you're not here, you're missing it, because it is an absolute spectacle.
Listen, again, all big up to Turkey Al Sheikh, Dr. Khan, MBS, all the people who are behind this and giving it their full support. And there's a lot more big things to come, I can assure you.
Well, we look forward to it, Spence. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.